If you haven't heard, we got some big news dropped on us today. Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice has been sentenced to 5 years probation and 30 days in jail. Not to mention, Adam Schefter has said he's more than likely going to face a suspension this year from the NFL. So what does this mean for fantasy? What does it mean for the other Chiefs pass catchers, specifically Xavier Worthy? Let's break it all down, and let's start with what we know. So yes, Rashee Rice charged 5 years probation, 30 days in jail. But here's the key thing about that 30 days in jail. It's not like he's going to spend the next 30 days in jail. According to what the ruling was, those 30 days can be served anytime during the 5 years of his probation. So likely he's going to serve them randomly throughout the off seasons or however he chooses to do it. Okay, so that's good for Rashee Rice. He's not going to be in jail to start the NFL season. That's good for your fantasy team as well. But this now opens the door for the NFL to actually impose a suspension on Rashee Rice. Remember, this stems from the multi-car crash he was involved in last year where him and, I guess, some of his friends were racing down that Dallas interstate and caused a multi-car pileup and then took off and ran instead of staying there like they should have. But what does this mean for fantasy? Well, Rashee Rice was a guy we had seen going up in drafts. This guy had moved into the second round pretty solidly in fantasy drafts, which seemed crazy to me, even without the risk of a suspension, considering this guy's coming off a major knee injury. He's now got competition from Xavier Worthy. Maybe Hollywood Brown actually stays healthy. Travis Kelce, no, he's dust, but he's still out there. I just thought this was a little strange, especially the Chiefs. We've seen in more recent years with the emergence of that defense, they've gone to a more run-heavy, less pass-heavy offense. They still throw the ball enough, but not quite like they did back in the days when they had no defense. Now you factor in that he's going to miss games. This is almost a certainty. How many games? We don't know yet. That'll come down the road. I'm sure the NFL kind of was looking into this. Now that this door is open, they're going to make their ruling hopefully pretty soon. I think best case for you, if you have Rashee Rice, or if you've been drafting Rashee Rice in your dynasty startups, your underdog best ball drafts, is that he gets suspended to start the season. What you don't want to see here is if the NFL drags on this, because remember, the season is only about 5-6 weeks away. If it takes them, a couple months to make a decision, now we could be looking at a suspension in the middle part of the season, or even worse, at the end of the season when you need him most in your fantasy playoffs. If he gets a suspension early in the season, I don't think that's too terrible for him because, again, remember, he's coming off a serious knee injury. He probably wasn't going to be 100% to start the year anyways. Just give him more time to, recover from that knee injury, be ready to go, and ramp up at the end of the season. Now, if the suspension comes somewhere in the middle of the season or even worse, later in the season, then I think we have to significantly drop Rashee Rice. But I already thought the second round was way too high for Rashee Rice given the circumstances here. But if he falls far enough, say maybe like 4th, 5th round, I think I'm willing to gamble on Rashee Rice, even if he has an early season suspension. Now, of course, if it's a late season suspension, not all out on Rashee Rice. Now, what about Xavier Worthy? This is another guy. We had seen him kind of gain some steam, throughout the offseason after a big finish to last year, kind of going in that 4th round range, sometimes late 3rd round range. I don't want to pump Xavier Worthy up too much here because, again, what if Rashee Rice only gets a 3-game suspension for the first 3 games of the season? Okay, that's good for Worthy for the first 3 games, but now we're talking about Worthy with Rice, with Kelce, with Hollywood, however healthy he is this year. So again, I don't want to pump Worthy up too much. I do think we're going to see Worthy's ADP skyrocket here. If it does, I'm probably backing off. I've already drafted quite a bit of Worthy because I just felt he was a better value than Rice in drafts this year anyways. So if his ADP goes way up, I'll probably just stop drafting Worthy. Now, as far as Kelce, Hollywood Brown, look, Kelce's dust. I don't think this helps him or hurts him. He's dust. It doesn't matter. Hollywood, you know how we feel about Hollywood. We like Hollywood here. We just wish Hollywood could stay on the field. If he could stay on the field this year, I still like Hollywood. He's going outside the top 100 picks. Again, really depends on when this Rice suspension drops. If it drops early in the season where, he's missing the first few weeks, no big deal. We saw something similar with Alvin Kamara a few years ago where he missed the first 3 games of the season, and then he was a monster pretty much the rest of the year. I think Rashee Rice, if it's early in the season, not going to affect him too badly. Again, I prefer a more 4th, 5th round. If it's later in the season, then we got to drop him significantly. So we'll be keeping an eye on this, waiting for that NFL suspension to drop. But in the meantime, don't miss the rest of our videos we got covering many other guys. We're going to get you ready for the 2025 fantasy football drafts to dominate your league. And you can find all the videos you need to help you out in our playlist right here.